Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating case about a land title that seemed to just disappear. So I want you to imagine this for a second. You do everything right. You follow all the rules to secure a piece of property, and then one day, poof, your proof of ownership just vanishes from the official records. That's not a hypothetical. It's exactly what happened in this case, and it teaches us a really powerful lesson about what it truly means to own land. All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the claim itself, look at the alleged irregularities, hear out the official's defense, get to the Supreme Court's final word, and then unpack the key legal lessons from all of this. Okay, let's get into it. Our story starts with the petitioner, Dinah Castillo. Now, she wasn't just some random person buying land. She was a judgment creditor. Basically, that means someone owed her money, and the court had officially recognized it. So she was legally trying to collect on that debt by going after her debtor's assets. And you can see here, Castillo did her homework. She ticked all the boxes. She finds the property in '99. She double-checks with government offices. Yep, it's co-owned by her debtor. No formal title exists yet. By 2002, she wins her share at a public auction, registers the sale, and bam, the city assessor issues her a tax declaration. On paper, her claim looks solid. So everything seems to be going smoothly. Castillo goes to do the responsible thing, pay her real estate taxes, and she hits a brick wall. She's told her tax declaration has been canceled. Just gone. And the craziest part? No one even told her. Her entire claim had just vanished from the system. So you have to be asking, how does a legal document just disappear? Well, according to Dinah Castillo, this was no simple filing error. She alleged that this was a deliberate, coordinated effort, a conspiracy even, to wipe her ownership rights right off the map. And here's why her tax declaration was canceled. A new document had shown up, a Transfer Certificate of Title, or TCT, in the name of Summit Point Realty. This new title claimed her lot was actually just a small piece of a much bigger property. And this right here, this is the central conflict of the whole case. Now this is where the plot really thickens. Castillo started pointing out some massive red flags. The deed of sale, not even signed by the buyer. The guy who signed for the seller, he was representing a man who was already dead, which is a huge legal no-no. And get this, the documents were registered and a new title was issued at the exact same time. To top it off, the official corporate approval for the purchase only showed up 5 days after the title was already in their name. And this quote from her actual complaint affidavit just says it all. She's essentially saying there's no way this could have happened so fast and with so many problems unless the Register of Deeds was actively cooperating and, in her words, choosing to close his eyes to it all. All right, so you've heard Castillo's side, and it sounds pretty compelling. But what about the public officials she accused? The Register of Deeds, the city assessor, the records clerk, they had a very different story to tell. Their entire defense boiled down to this one crucial legal concept, ministerial duty. It's a powerful idea. Think of it like this. They're arguing they're just cogs in a machine. Their job isn't to be detectives and investigate the story behind the paperwork. Their job is just to process what's put in front of them, as long as it follows the procedural rules. So first up, you've got the Register of Deeds attorney Escutin. He basically said, look, my job is to register documents, not to decide if they're valid. As far as he was concerned, the paperwork was eventually all there, and the law required him to register it. Then you have the assistant city assessor, Aquilina Mixtas. Her defense was even simpler. Not my department. She claims she wasn't in charge of the records and that the specific action of canceling the tax declaration wasn't part of her job description at all. And finally, we have the records clerk, Marietta Linatock. She argued she was just the last domino to fall. By the time the paperwork landed on her desk, it had already been approved by her superiors. Her only job was the final, mechanical step of canceling the old tax declaration. So, the case worked its way all the way up the legal ladder, from the Ombudsman to the Court of Appeals, and finally it landed in the hands of the Supreme Court. This was it, the final word on the matter. And the court's decision was clear, direct, and final. Dinah Castillo's petition was denied. Let's break that down. The administrative case for grave misconduct? Dismissed. The court said there wasn't enough substantial evidence. The criminal case for graft and corruption? Also dismissed, for lack of probable cause. In the eyes of the law, the case against the officials was closed. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. With all those procedural irregularities that Castillo pointed out, how on earth did the officials walk away? Well, the answer lies in some fundamental, rock-solid doctrines of property law. Okay, this is the most important part. Think of it like a deck of cards. In Philippine law, a tax declaration is a pretty good card to hold, but a transfer certificate of title, a TCT, is the ace. It's considered absolute indefeasible proof of ownership. When a TCT and a tax declaration go head-to-head over the same piece of land, the TCT wins, every single time. And there was another huge legal problem for Castillo. The court ruled that her complaint was an improper collateral attack. You see, the law is very specific. If you want to challenge the validity of a TCT, you can't do it sideways through an administrative complaint against some government employees. You have to file a direct lawsuit specifically for the purpose of canceling that title. So, let's just quickly recap the core lessons here. 1. A TCT is the best proof of ownership, period. 2. A TCT will always beat a tax declaration. 3. Public officials are legally presumed to be doing their jobs correctly unless you have serious evidence to the contrary. And 4. If you have a problem with the title, you have to challenge it head-on in court. And this whole case leaves us with a really critical question, doesn't it? In a world drowning in paperwork, this story is a powerful reminder that not all documents are created equal. There's a profound legal difference between just having a claim on paper and holding an indefeasible title that the whole world has to respect.